Hello, welcome. I'm going to be chatting in just a moment about something that is super, super important to me. Okay. What happened? What? Okay. Hi, you guys. Wow, okay. Hold on one sec. Here we go. Welcome to this space. So sometimes I get in this habit of, just doing like 10,000 Instagram, just typing things out for so long. So I just wanted to jump on live and chat about this. So this is a vulnerable topic, and I think it's very, very important, especially right now, right? So this is going to be about sobriety. My journey with sobriety. Why am I sober? What does that have anything to do with my psychic gifts and spirituality? So the most important thing I am here to say is that this is about my personal journey. There is zero judgment. I'm not here telling you to get sober. That's not the space that I hold. I want to share my experience in hopes that it give you something, right? Whether that's acceptance, love, hope, freedom, so all that good that we are worthy of. I hope that it brings you to that space in a new way. So here's a little bit about my story. So I got sober when I was like 22, I want to say. It's been over 4 years. I'm 26 now. So that journey for me looked like this. I was in a really unhealthy relationship, and I was under the impression that I was not safe in my body and that I had no power in and of myself. So without going too deep into this, right, Shaman Durek talks a lot about the system that we're in, the matrix, the programming, right? And so that really took a toll on me. Right when I got to this planet, I said, shit, man, I have an upset stomach. I literally had an upset stomach ever since I was born. I don't have that anymore because now I'm awakening to a different perception. So in your belly is how you view yourself. It's your consciousness. So for me, when I got a taste of pot, so alcohol never vibed with me. I never really liked it. But when I got a taste of pot, all of a sudden I felt the creativity and the freedom come back into my body, right? Now that's temporary. That's a tool. We can create that for ourselves, right? But in the society, in my journey, I forgot. Okay? And so without going too deep into that story, I found spirit, I found yoga, I found my body, I found myself. All of a sudden I felt safe to be vulnerable without the shields, right? The substance shields. And so I got into Reiki, I became a yoga teacher, and I was still smoking at this time. So my awakening and my use overlapped. And then I'll tell you my last experience with smoking. And for me, you guys, this was all day, every day. This was not occasional. This was, I was a pot leaf. And I mean that with love to myself, right? This was me. Like, I was so identified with doing this and using this. It was clearly abusing a plant, right? Abusing a substance, right? In myself, in my consciousness. So I knew something was up. I had a feeling, I'm like, the deeper I became enlightened, the more I became aware of the truth. And you feel me on that. I think you know what I mean, right? I didn't need it. I didn't want it. So here's my last night smoking. I'll share it with you. So I was in California with my sister. My sister lived out in California, and it was legal there. And we were all like, oh, this is great. We decided to smoke that night. It was awesome. It was great. And then I felt this massive wave of horror that was induced by the plant, by my interaction with the plant. Now, we all interact differently at different times with different things. It's super, super, super personal, okay? So it was that night when I said to myself, my consciousness is here. So think about it like this. I used to be way down here, right? Pot vibrated somewhere around here. So when I partaked, I would rise up. So when I rose above and beyond, it actually brought me down. And I don't mean better than, I just mean different levels of consciousness, right? So I was brought down so deeply by that plant that I said, screw that. That really just messes me up. So I never touched it again after that. And I believe I drank a little bit a couple months after. So I ended up actually getting sober with my partner at the time. And just freestyle, like I didn't go to a recovery program or anything. I just dropped everything, and that was my journey. And then all of a sudden I felt a lot of anger come up because, you know, of course that plant was covering up a lot in me, right? So I felt a lot of anger. I felt a lot of emotions, mainly anger actually, now that I'm remembering that. And it was uncomfortable and it was unsettling. And there was a period of time where I was coming off of that plant medicine, right? Because it is the earth, plant medicine. And there was a period where just life sucked, you know what I mean? Psychologically. I know pot is like one of the least addictive chemicals, but for me, of course, there was emotional coming off of that. And so I pretty much left everything, you guys. I left meat, I left alcohol, I left pot, I left everything because I felt intuitively, I don't need to do it. It is not helping me. I have some big, big, big dreams. And each person has their own integrity. And for me, it's out of integrity. That's why it's so important to take time to hear your own soul, because your truth is not somebody else's truth. And if I sat here and preached and told you to be a certain way, I would be not doing anybody a service. That's not what I'm here to do, and I don't think that works. It's ineffective because my truth might not be your truth, yeah? So anywho, how does being sober affect my ability to be a healer? How does it affect my ability to process? For me, I'm a Pisces, and I've got a lot of planets in Pisces. So I already live in a fantasy world, in a dreamy state. So that just had me completely in another dimension. So I already have enough fantasy, enough dreamy, enough Neptune energy. So I didn't need more of that, right? What I actually need is to be in the physical world, right? So once I left everything, I realized this. Many people on this planet are terrified of being vulnerable, to shake when they speak, to be uncomfortable, right? And I would walk into social gatherings choosing not to partake in anything, and I would feel everything. Oh my God, is anybody freaking out right now? Like social anxiety to the max, you know? And so I had to learn how to, one, step away from environments that didn't feel conducive to where I was at, right? So this is about soul integrity. And so the one part is leaving environments that did not support me. And the other part is, how do I live life without that crutch, that buffer? It got really real. The emotions got really, really real. So I'll bring it back to today. Here I am today. I have learned so many skills to navigate being hypersensitive and not having that crutch, that support system. That's what it was for me, right? And a lot of those involve tools of empowerment, meaning before I step out of my car to go anywhere, I put up my shield and I pray and I say some words. I claim my space. And that's a very, very effective way for me to hold my own. Because my gifts involve these things: psychic, sensitive, intuitive. I always know what psychic doors are open in my consciousness. I teach people this because if your system is overloaded, you might feel extremely anxious and have too many psychic doors open, right? And for me, substances are actually dangerous to my consciousness, I believe. Not in like a woo-woo way, but in like a unhealthy way. Because my greatest purpose and job is to be right here, even if it's hard. My job is to not run. Do I still want to sometimes? Yeah. But I'm committed to staying. And that's what works for me. So how does being sober affect my psychic gifts? Well, here's the thing. See your body as an instrument through which Great Spirit flows. So there's this word in yoga philosophy called prana. Prana is the animating force of life. It's what animates life. So imagine yourself as an instrument. If you have a clouded instrument, you are not going to be able to perceive other realities, other belief systems that are of a higher consciousness, right? So depending on the food you eat, the amount of sleep you get, are you intoxicated in any type of way, right? So all of that affects us big time. Even being around people who are on substances affects us big time. There's ways to shield yourself from that, but we are all connected. So I want to say this. You can shield yourself up all you want to. But I'll just say for me, but when I get around my family, I'm shielded up. I still get affected sometimes. Because we are meant to feel. We are not meant to be very separate from each other in these boxes to not feel each other, okay? We're meant to feel each other. So for me as a healer and a teacher, what I must do for myself, because I know it in my soul, is to be as clean as possible so I can channel the highest and really clearest energy. That's what feels best for me, right? So my job is actually to be as healthy as I can be. Because when people come to see me, they come to receive more energy through what? Through me, right? As a teacher, as a healer, and no, I'm not healing you, but I am holding space in a type of way. Much love, sis. That allows you to perceive a different reality. So it is my job to be as clean as possible. Here's another piece to that. That means that I don't get to run away. And I want to sometimes, right? Like I said, when I feel pain, I am committed to being with the pain. I did it today. I put a phone timer on. Thanks for the hearts, loves. I put a phone timer on for 15 minutes because my inner child was like, I'm in pain, I'm in pain, I'm in pain. And I was like, oh, I just got to do some work. No. 15 minutes, I laid back and I dropped all the way into the pain body. And I actually felt it. So congratulations if you're doing that. I love you. If you are choosing to feel the hard stuff, I love you. Because if you choose to feel deeply the pain, then you will inhabit pleasure as well. We are here to feel deeply and to let things wash through us, right? So, and I'll offer this as well. You know, they call alcohol spirits, right? For a reason. You know, that for me, I'll just say for me, again, no judgment. I love you just the way you are. So for me, that substance opens doors that I don't want open, y'all. You feel me? Because when I'm laying in bed completely sober, I already have spirits talking to me. And I say, guys, boundaries up, like I gotta sleep. So, you know, bars like kind of tripped me out because I literally sense there are spirits hovering over the space, waiting for doorways. I'm being for real. Waiting for entry points to enter consciousness. Not to kill or harm, but to hook in. You know what I'm saying? And a part of what I do in my work is to unhook spirits from people. This is not uncommon. You can pick up spirits from Walmart, like anywhere, literally anywhere. And so the idea is to be empowered and to know, who are you open to? And when we do our own healing, we close doors. Exactly, Court. And distract. That's right. That's right. When we do our own healing and when we do our own healing, we actually close what's called affinities. So the reason why we have spiritual dis-ease that actually manifests in the physical world is because of what's called affinities. These are insecurities. So those insecurities in you can be an access point to an energy that ain't yours. So when we do our own healing, when we face our own shit, I mean that with love, we close the affinities so we get more, what's the word? Empowered. Empowered. And I had a question come through about why do some people get anxious when they smoke pot and why do some people not? And I want to say this. Pot is Mother Earth. What I did was I abused it. And I love myself. I'm not being hard on myself, but I'm not bashing pot. Like, pot actually saved people's lives, right? Epilepsy, getting off of prescription drugs, like, but for me and my consciousness, I was not using it. Or I should say, it was done. I was ready to move on from it. And I knew when that time was because it made me feel horrible. And so I walked away. And I haven't looked back ever since. And I'm called to speak on this because I believe it's part of my path. It's part of something that I'm meant to speak on because, you know, I grew up and it was normalized to be checked out. And that's kind of scary. You know, it was normalized. And so I had a question come through. Why does pot make some people anxious and some people not? And I don't really know. I don't really know, love. Yeah, I think that everything affects us differently at different times, right? So we're fluid. And I like to say this, your truth can change tomorrow. We are meant to be fluid and adaptable. So if you're jumping on, you guys, you are so welcome. Thank you so much. Hi, Rach. So if you guys are just jumping on, let me know if you have questions about this. What about my story are you curious about? Because I'm willing to share. I'm willing to be a voice for this. Thanks to my rising Aries, because I like to be a voice for these kinds of topics. Let me see if I had another question come through that I forgot about. Hey love, what you doing? Hey Rach. So what are you curious about sober and spirit? Or about anything about my path? I'll just hang out for a minute and drink some tea. So some people are afraid about what would happen if they put down their crutches. Which is, you know, I understand that, right? What frickin' Pandora's box am I going to open if I put down this thing that I've done for so long? You know what I'm saying? It's actually not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Imagine being clear. Right? So I just shared a big chunk of my story. So if you're just hopping on, thank you so much for being here. This is going to be saved. I'm just going to hang out and see if you guys have any topics or questions that you want me to speak on. I'm just going to drink some tea and hang out for a bit. I appreciate you. So one of my biggest gifts in this life is in the stomach. It is the solar plexus. So I felt so much powerlessness in my life, right? So, and I like to speak about this because it's an important part of my path. When I was young, I had a lot of darkness flood into my reality. And now I know, because I am such a powerful healer, and I've been doing this for lifetimes, that those who don't want the power in the people's hands. Try to freak us out a little bit. Try to come into the room at night and say, psst, something's wrong with you. The answer is no, it's not. Right? And so my greatest gift is showing people what the other side looks like. So I survived. And I was at the lowest low, right? I was addicted. I was in a really, really harmful relationship, you guys. And now I feel fucking free. F word. F word. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Oh, you're welcome, Rach. I love you. Thanks, honey. Leaving space open for questions. I'll share a little bit more. Let's see how my phone's doing on battery. Oh, good. Okay, I might just be here all night hanging out with you guys. So I do plan to go on another live and answer questions, which I already got in, about shamanic healing and how that's different from Reiki. What are the effects from a person receiving it, and what happens when you do it, right? So both sides, the giver and the receiver, how does shamanic healing work? So stay tuned for that if you're interested. That'll be a different talk, but let me see if anything else wants to come through right now about my path. So there are other ways, my love, to regulate your nervous system. For me, I was very dysregulated. I was very outside of my body, very scared of life, right? And here's the other piece to that. I understand why people want to numb out. I get it. You know, we are in a really deep transition right now. And none of this stuff is new, my love. Right? The shamans prophesized it, the religions prophesized it. We are at a time where the people are rising, and the systems that are in place, they're on shaking grounds. And the love that you are is knocking at the door. And so I get the need for comfort. I get that. And for me, it was about finding comfort inside of myself and knowing that I am enough and I don't need anything, right? So that was my journey. And it was about facing my fears. It is about facing my fears. You know, I'm not afraid of my darkness. I will sit with it. I will go into it. I will look at it. I'll get out my feather. I'll fan myself. And so I just want to put love into you right now. That's what I want to do. That's all I'm here to do, is to share my story in hopes that it touch you in some way, and to also offer this platform, this space, as a way to support you and fan your flames, to uplift you. So if you ever want to private message me and just ask or get resources, or are you curious about working with me one-on-one, I'm here to support you. Because there have been people in my path that saved me, that woke me up to what I already have within me. So let me talk about divine remembrance real quick, because this is coming through. Divine remembrance says, when I came to earth, I forgot who I was. And when I forgot who I was, I suffered a lot, and I was hungry. When I forgot who I was, I suffered a lot, and I was hungry, and the society told me that I'm hungry, and the society told me that I wasn't enough. And I saw all these images on the TV screens of beautiful women, and I felt like I was never enough. I felt like I had to get men's attention in order to be safe. I was lied to. And maybe you were too. If you grew up in this society, you were lied to, I feel. And I want to honor that, right? Because we're waking up to the effed upness, are we? But there's a challenge in that says, I know with every bone in my body that I came to rise from these ashes. And do you know the most powerful force in the universe? What is it? It's love and forgiveness, baby. There's nothing more powerful than that. And so I want you to know that there is a divine plan here, that you can relax the systems of your body. Because what happens, you guys, when we are stressed is we start to crave, right? We need something. I'm unsafe. It's root chakra stuff. It's I'm unsafe. And so there are specific practices and tools that I use that I'm happy to share with you. It's going to take more time, right? Maybe a one-on-one session or another live video to share more about that. But there's specific practices and tools that I use to not lose my shit and just start, because it's a hunger. It's a hunger to feel okay. And what I'm going to share is that to just breathe. To breathe and to awaken that remembrance. Because once we get into that space, we get this tunnel vision and we kind of just have to lay down and take a nap for a minute to just like chill out, because we are multidimensional. And the divine remembrance is remembering your power. Nothing is wrong with you. That's one of the biggest lies that we've ever been told. Something is wrong with us. Yeah. You're doing enough. You are doing it right. I don't care who you are and where you are. You're safe and you're learning right now. And you know what the soul loves? To learn. You know what the human loves? Comfort. So we honor that and we wrap up in the blanket and we get healings for ourselves and we support ourselves. Right? Breathing so deeply into your body. And when that voice comes up in your mind that says something is wrong, I am not okay, or I don't like myself, I want you to look at it, see it, and open your arms and love it. See if that works. I teach a lot about how I used to just chop that tree down, but why don't we just grow flowers on the tree instead, right? That grounds us. Remember who you are, right? Shaman Durek talks a lot about the matrix and the system that we're in, and shamanism does as well. The system is being flipped upside down. That's why we are in a collective purge. And we've got a lot of astrological things going on right now. Mars is retrograde in Aries and Mercury is retrograde. So what retrograde means? Let's get astrological. I know this is called Sober in Spirit, but we'll tie it in. It means we're turning in on ourselves. When a planet is retrograde, that means it is turned in. So instead of going out, so Mars represents our ego, our drive, and so that is actually turned in. So we are literally becoming new beings. We are becoming new beings. In shamanism, the new human that is coming on this planet, which is you, by the way, yay, is called Homo Luminous, which means I am not my past. And it actually involves posture, opening your heart space, lifting your crown of your head, releasing your shoulders. That's the housing aspect. Hey, my love. And owning your power. What would that feel like? I'm curious. Maybe you already know. What is that like? To choose to own your energy and your power. So if you're jumping on and something is coming up for you, let me know in the chat, you guys, if you have questions, thoughts that wanted to come through. So like I said, my job is to be as clear as possible because I am a channel. We are all channels, right? And so what comes through me, so for example, and this is no judgment, this is just for my journey, for my experience, if I was still smoking and not eating well, and I showed up at a Reiki session or at a shamanic healing session, I would have really cloudy vision. So in order for me to speak clearly with my guides and angels in those sessions, I gotta be clear, y'all. Not perfect, but for my integrity to be as clear of a channel as possible, right? And to be able to bounce back. Like if I do get triggered or if I do have to close a portal, which has happened, how do I bounce back from that? How quickly can I close that portal, right? And move on. If you are on earth, take a breath with me. If you are on earth, you came here as a badass soul, ready to be challenged and woken up, right? There's a lot of awakening happening on the planet and it's not comfortable. But I know in my heart of hearts, the bliss of awakening is worth everything. 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 I'll just hang out for another minute, see if anything else is coming through. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. And I shared a lot about my story to sobriety at the beginning of this chat. So I believe it's been about 4 years, and I'm just that sensitive, y'all. I'm that Pisces chick who's just like walking into a grocery store, like just hit with all this energy, even when I do my stuff, my shielding. And I just breathe with it. I don't resist it. I don't fight it, because my sensitivities show up in my shamanic sessions as some crazy badass gifts, and I'm going to own that. Your gifts are challenges. Isn't there a quote, y'all, that says, hey lady, isn't there a quote that says, if you don't use your gifts, they kill you or something? And that's to denote the kind of double-edged sword. Like when you have a strong gift, it's actually your challenge. It's actually your challenge, right? And so mine happens to be my emotions. I can feel things, see things, and I know how to turn it off and on, right? And that doesn't mean that I don't get moody and have to like lay down for 15 minutes and like cry or freak out, but that means overall, like I feel really good. So I could just like talk all night. So I'll wrap it up in a moment. If you're coming on and want to share something, we'd love to hear from you. So I will continue to be a safe space for you. And I will continue to show up and share my story and to speak on vulnerable topics that are really important right now, because we are in the mass awakening. And I'll share a little bit about what I think the awakening is. I think the awakening is we never left the Garden of Eden. This is what the shamans talk about. We have been wounded by our mythology that says something is wrong with you, that original sin, right? Totally. Thank you. Much love, you guys. Thank you. So the shamans say we have been wounded in the West by our mythology, that something is wrong with us. The shamans believe that we never left the Garden of Eden. Nothing is inherently wrong with you. I lived in this life with these belief systems that drove me to sexualize everything, right? And repress everything and chase after men. And literally, you guys, I'm gonna be real. I was in freaking 6th grade and I was wearing the tightest pants I couldn't even breathe in because I wanted attention, because that's what I learned in this culture, man. What is that? What the fuck? The pants have to be so tight I can't even breathe. I was a child. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I just sang a song about it. I'm like, inner child, they lied to you. You are perfect. You are beautiful. You are fluid. You can be whatever the hell you want to be, my love. And the biggest piece to this is to be in the system, but not of the system. I teach about this. Anger is okay and it's good. But if you hold anger to the system and to the darkness, you actually feed it. And so what we want to do is express that anger, get pissed off if we're pissed off, and then what? Choose love. Right? Bow. I say, ooh, You want to come over here and be love for a minute? You want to come over here and be love? No? Okay, then there's the door, sweetie. With all the love in my heart. Woo! So the awakening is this. And this is for me, right? This is what saved my life. One, nothing is wrong with you inherently. You are perfect. You are divine. You are a freaking miracle. You can walk on water. Literally, in the Bible, it says, Jesus says, you can do anything that I can do and more. Right? The kingdom of heaven is inside of you. And for me, I identify as a mystic, and that is a person who seeks direct experiences with the divine. And so for me, the awakening is this. Beyond your temporary emotions of pain and joy, something underneath of you is alive and well. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. Something underneath of you is alive and well, and that's enlightenment. I taught about this in my event last night. It really kind of helped me a lot to remember that. I was like, I left last night, I'm like, God, that was lit. I feel super stoked. So we have temporary emotions, right? But enlightenment, awakening, is not associated with an emotional state, right? It is what's behind the emotions. It is the God within. And enlightenment is experiential. So you can learn about it in books, but you won't really feel it until you feel it. You know what I mean? And so I'll challenge us tonight, because I always like to throw in a challenge, an invitation, an offering, to breathe into our body and say this. What if this moment was perfect? What if I am perfect in my challenges and in my imperfection? What if I stopped waiting for that thing to happen for me to be woke? What if I just decided? What would that look like? What if I prayed to the universe and I said, I am ready. Show me who I am, my truth. What if we decided to walk without fear? What would that be like? Because in this time, you guys, we're being stripped away. Oh my God, we're being stripped away. We are facing our shit. I mean that with love. We're facing ourselves, and we are asked to be storyless. To say, we're not the past. I'm not who I was. I'm not the past. I learned from the past, but I am not the past. Who am I? The great mystery. In shamanism, I learned that there's this funny story where, you know, the shamans wake up and they look at themselves in the mirror and they say, I don't know who you are today, but I'm going to brush your teeth anyway. They just know. They have this deep faith in the mystery. Be a faith keeper, right? We are asked to know that it's safe to have no story anymore because it's being ripped from us. You feel me? All that old stuff, all those attachments, all of those things. Open up your palms tonight and breathe into your body. And maybe they'll just leave you effortlessly without fight. Wouldn't that be something? I'll hold that space. Thank you. Thank you for being with me in one of my late night tea chats. And if you missed the first part of this, definitely circle back. I spoke a lot about what I have pinned here, sober and spirit, and what that means for my personal journey. So I see the God in you, and I love you, and you are perfect exactly as you are in all of your challenges. You're still worthy. You're still worthy. We love a good challenge on this planet, yeah? Check out this video. I'm going to post, I know I keep saying this, but I'm going to post it. It's about the little soul. Maybe I'll share it real quick. I'm going to share it. Let me take a sip of tea. I got one more thing for you. All right. So this is the awakening. This is going to help us understand what it means to be on earth and to be woke, right? To remember, to have this divine remembrance. So, and this is a story that I learned in my ayahuasca experience, which I'm going to share about that pretty soon as well. So stay tuned. So God is up in heaven and there's two little souls, okay? And in the space of heaven, we're all one, right? The divine and us are one. We're in the cosmic pool of oneness and love and divinity. We can't even fathom it. Can't fathom it. It's just unfathomable. So we're in that space, God and little soul. This little soul says to God, oh, I really want to learn my power. I really want to learn my power. Because in that space of heaven, everything is already known. You only know something by knowing its opposite. Yeah? You only know what you want by knowing what you don't want, right? Welcome to contrast. I know it sucks sometimes, but it's here for a reason, right? We came here for it. Wild, right? And so we're up in heaven. The little soul says, I want to learn my power. So God says, oh, perfect. Okay, you can go to Earth, learn your power. Great. Oh, sounds like a great plan. And so this other little soul pops up and says, I can help you learn your power. And the other little soul says, wow, you can. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And this other little soul says, I'm going to come and make you feel powerless. And this other little soul says, wow, you would do that for me? Thank you. You would make me feel powerless so that I can rediscover and feel my power? Thank you. However can I repay you? And this other little soul says, just promise me one thing. And the little soul who's gonna learn about her power says, anything. What do you want? Anything. This other little soul says, promise me you won't forget who I am. Because if you forget who I am, then you'll forget who you are and we'll both be lost. What does that mean? Everything is God. Everything is great spirit. You ever seen that meme? Oh, it's so beautiful, that story. You ever seen that meme where there's the person, there's the finger that flicks, and then there's like the ditch and then a hand, and it's like every single person is the great spirit, is God. Isn't that wild? You don't have to believe any of this. I'm just sharing it. It's so wild. I believe it to my core because it rings true for me. It resonates. I feel it. Right? So what if this is all teaching you something that you came to learn? And so what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to say, hell yeah. Hell yeah to this challenge. Hell yeah, I got this. Hell yeah, breathing is a miracle. I get to breathe. I get to live in this house and sleep in this bed, and I get to feel things, and I get to be in this body. That's freaking incredible. It's freaking incredible. I get to walk outside if I wanted to, put my feet in the grass. Everything is okay. And your challenges are here to actually support you. Isn't that wild? So I'll leave you with that. I love you. Thank you. Send me a message. I'll send you the link to that video on YouTube, The Little Soul and the Sun. It's actually a kid's book. And somebody's reading from it. And I cried so hard when I heard it. I still cry when I listen to it. Okay, my loves, I think I'm going to jump off. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for watching this. And make sure you come back and watch the beginning so that you can get the story of my sobriety if you are curious and interested. I am a safe container for you. Thank you for witnessing me in my vulnerability. I see you. I support you. I'll see you very soon, okay? Bye, you guys. Good night.